Calibration was once required, but now no longer. Welcome to a special with CharFox. That's me. Originally, this video was meant to be as a subscriber special thank you for 500 subscribers. But as time progressed, in less than a week, that number escalated to 600 subscribers. Shortly thereafter, 700 subscribers. And from what I am informed, it is now sitting at just over 800 subscribers. So, I'm behind. I'm very behind, and I apologize. So please join me for a very special watch along with CharFox. That is an alarm. Dang it, I started recording already. Alright, so, I lost my train of thought. After careful thinking and consideration, I figured that one of the best ways I could probably say thank you for all of your support and for all of your involvement and just sharing these experiences with me as we grow along and go through them together. Uh, I guess I could share a couple of personal things, and one of them, a couple of ideas that came to me were to help you develop a better understanding as to why my videos take so long for me to pop one out. And it's mostly because time. I currently work a job that requires close to 11 to 13 hours per day, and that leaves me with very little time to then dedicate to school, because I'm also going to college, and to my family, my wife and my son. So it's tough, but I try. I try to keep things in balance, and I figured, well, let's take everybody to work with me. So for this special, we're going to be doing a couple of things, and one of them is going to be going to work with me. Now, I have two things that I was able to record, and one of them was we were carrying out repairs on a emergency backup generator. And these are some of the clips of us attempting to start up the emergency generator. So so let's get started. Here we go. Starting now. I'm tired at this point, as you can see. Or you can't see, my face is so dark. Um, Somebody else, he's actually trying to prime the engine, and he's been going at it for like 7 minutes. I'll wait for it.
Oh, yeah.
You ready? Stand by.
Whack. Let's try it again. But we officially killed the battery at this point, and that's the end of the video. At that point, we officially killed the battery. But we did not give up. We charged the batteries, and we came back around 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later, with a pair of freshly charged batteries. So we're going to try that again, starting now. Fourth attempt. Here we go. Poor guy still priming the engine.
Stand by.
Now at this point, I apologize, my awesome cameraman skills had me looking at what's happening, but I lowered my phone. And then Eventually I realized, oh, oops, alright, I'm gonna close that back up. And then I go back inside. Things are not looking good. But feel that vibration in the camera? That's actually the whole chamber is shaking. That's how big this generator is. And it's done. At this point, he's my
No way.
the person working with me is getting frustrated. He's been priming that pump for like around 3 hours.
I guess not today.
I guess not today. But we don't give up just yet. Oh no. We're gonna go ahead and start it one more time. And this was probably around an hour and a half later.
Come on.
Come on! Get rid of all that junk. Rev it up. There you go. That's my frustration face. Dang it. Alright, now keep in mind that generator has been inactive since, I would say, maybe 4 years. It's been inoperational for 4 years. Now, the diesel at that point started creating a lot of algae, I guess you can call it, some sort of like contamination. But the biological breakdown of things, and that poor engine is just pumped with crap. So that's why it has a hard time trying to compress the gas and do the ignition, because there's so much foreign materials inside the fuel. But we will not be deterred. We're going to try it one more time. And this was approximately 45 to an hour later after that.
Under frequency.
All right, so at that point we got a fault, and we had an under frequency fault, which means that there was a problem with the engine controller, the MDEC card. So what we did was we actually swapped it out with the one that we had originally replaced to make sure that it actually runs, because that's what we're focused on. We're trying to get this thing running so it can clear its throat and get all that junk out. And so we switched out the card, and this was probably 45 minutes after that. And here we go.
Ready. Stand by.
I will put on my computer for trying to record my chicken and water. Now I first of all here. not yet. Well, actually, smoke coming out of the whatnot. Trying to get a read on tires. There we go. And I lost it. I'm too late.
Nice.
Nice. That's right. Nice. So mission accomplished. And that's generator day. Now, the next work day that we're gonna go is all the way back in April 21st. Yeah, I actually recorded these way back then for my 500 special. So in this one, we're actually going to talk about a water chiller system, and we're going to change out some filters. So it'll be fun, I promise. Here we go, starting now.
Okay, so this is going to be the chiller air handler system that we're going to be servicing today. We have our filters over here, and this is the entire unit that we're going to be surfacing today. These white pipes is where the cold water comes in, and then it also comes out back to the chiller system. Now, over here we have our controller board. First thing we want to do is, because as of right now, inside here is an air blower that is extremely powerful, and it's pulling in massive amounts of air. So we're going to try to open this. Alright, so there you go. Now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and shut this guy off by switching this into the off position, making this start powering down slowly, and at the same time start slowing down the revolutions until eventually it goes all the way down to 0. This is called the frequency, and this is the VFD, also known as a variable frequency drive system, because this allows us to control how fast this motor is spinning. And right now we're powering it down very carefully to ensure that no damage comes to it. We are almost down to 0 hertz for frequency of revolutions, and once we get down to 0, it's going to switch over to local stopped right there, and it stopped. No more movement. Now, to better protect ourselves, we don't want the system starting on by itself, so we're going to switch it over to the off position, and that way we ensure that if for some reason it wants to start back up, it won't. And that is the air turbine blower that pushes in air to the building. And over here we have the motor, the electrical motor that is controlled. If you follow the power cable, it's controlled by the variable frequency drive through there into here, and this basically controls how much electricity and current it is sending all the way to the electrical motor. Okay, now we're secured here, we're off here as well. Now we can go ahead and open up this guy over here where all our filters are going to be located in. Alright, now it might look cramped in there, but that is actually a filter chamber. Here we have our old filters, and here we have these particle filters that are designed to collect whatever might pass through here. These items will collect it for us and make sure that no contamination enters into the building. Now, we can go ahead and slowly make our way into the filter chamber, making sure not to damage the particle filters as we make our way through to the back, so that we can access and start pushing the filters outward. Now, if you notice behind me, we have the chiller coil. the water chiller coil, which is acting in place of the evaporator, which is normally used for refrigerant type systems. Through those pipes, we have the cold water that actually helps cool off the air. Now, once you get to back here, hold on a second.
And I accidentally shut off the camera. But basically, behind those particle filters is the actual pre-pleated filters. Now, in a moment, we're going to move them out of the way and get that going right now.
Well, that's bright. All right. So as you make your way through the primary filters, as we're doing right now, eventually you're going to reach the end. And then you gotta just
awesome
pull
camera
them apart
skills.
slightly.
Just getting right behind my face.
And then you start pushing away the filters.
It's hard to see, but I'm actually pushing the filters behind the particle filters. And that's, I accidentally shut down the camera again. So let's get back to this one, starting now.
Right. So now, after you've pushed away your filters, and you have all that nice real estate up here, and your filters are all the way somewhere down there, right? And you have 3 tracks, 1, 2, and 3, right? So after you've pulled off all these tracks, you want to come around the other side and keep pushing out the paper filters, making sure you put the primary tracks back to where they were. Make sure they're nice and tight so that no air gets in through here. Now, behind you is going to be the evaporator coil, which is not really an evaporator. It's more like a water coil. Because through these pipes, you have cold water, and it feels really cool to the touch. All right. So let's make our way back, making sure we close off all these openings we might come across.
So basically, after pushing
these things out of the way.
After pushing them out of the way so I can get behind it, push the
Now
pleated
we're going to make our way
filters.
back to the front of the machine. Now here, where we have the last couple of filters, we get those guys out of here. There you go.
Get out of
And
here.
then these guys down here. One more. And lastly, this guy down here at the bottom. These 2 guys. 1. And 2. There we go. Now, we exit the system very carefully. Get these guys out of the way. Alright, now. It's a bit messy in there because we were walking through the machine. But over here is where, on the top, fresh air mixed with building air comes in, goes through the filter process, and it goes through the, it's not really an evaporator, but it's a cold water coil. Now, the next thing we're going to do is put the new filters, which are these right here, we're going to put them on top inside the rails. Now you have 3 rails, rail 1, rail 2, rail 3, and each one takes 5 filters. So we're going to go ahead and sign them, put the date on them, and put them in there. And we'll come back to you once that's done.
I actually made a small mistake now that I realize it. This video coming up next should have been first, which is the unboxing of the filters. So let's get that out of the way now.
Once you have your box of pre-pleated filters, you want to go ahead and you open it up. Luckily I got my my trusty utility knife here with me. And you cut off the tape area. There we go. And once you get that out of the way, go ahead and open it up. Always inspect it, make sure it's the proper size. Now for this particular unit, we're going to be using the 20 by 24, 24 by 24 times 2. That is actually the dimensions of this pre-plated filter. It measures 24 inches long, 24 inches wide, and 2 inches thick. Now, one thing to keep in mind is they usually give you a little indicator of where the airflow is going. In this case, the air is flowing in this direction and exiting through the back in this direction. The reason this is important is because usually on the back they have some sort of reinforcement, like a little wire mesh, that doesn't have it on the other side. Now, the purpose of that wire mesh is to reinforce the filter. As it starts getting saturated with particles and things just going in there, it's going to start getting clogged, and eventually it's going to start creating like this big blanket of crap that makes it get warped and bends out of shape, and that's a bad thing for the filter. Now, it's very important to date the filters so that you know when it was that you installed it, and
Camera skills.
just make sure you get the right size. Now, changing them isn't that hard. We're going to show you how in a little bit.
Oh man, this video was actually supposed to go before all the other videos. This was the first video before I start opening up the machine. But now you know. Anyway, so basically explaining the particles, everything gets clogged and then just pushes the filter in it, and it makes the filter warp, and eventually it'll fail. So, continuing on with the proper flow of things comes this video, hopefully.
Alright, now how I mentioned it before, you want to make sure that you have the reinforced material on the side where the air is coming from. Now, from here we said the fresh air is coming in, mixed with the building air, hits the filter area, which is this right here, where you have your filters here. It goes in through the side without the wire and goes out through the side with the wire. Now, as it exits, this is going to serve as a reinforcement, filtering major particles, followed by the particle blankets, and then eventually is gonna the clean air is gonna cool itself off in this cold water coil. All right. Now, on the other side of this machine, we have the air handler unit. Now, in here, we have basically a very large turbine, wind turbine, that will pull air from the cold water coil with this nice little hefty motor here. The drive belt is going to transmit the power from the motor to the turbine into that chamber. Now it's going to pull in all that air, and all that air that's really cool in here is going to get blown up into the building, and it's going to exit through all your ducts and ventilators within your offices. So once we finish changing out the filters, I'll go ahead and power this guy up so you see how it works, and it'll be cool. I love my job. It's awesome.
I still do. I still do. Alright, so basically I'd say it's real cool in there. It's actually almost like a refrigerator, and really fresh, really nice, and that's the air that gets blown into the building. So at this point in this one, I've been changing filters.
Filters you keep adding in there, the more it's going to start looking something like this. The top and the bottom rolls. Now, you, like I said, I want to make sure you put in the installation date, which is today, the 21st of April, 2016, and you have a nice little initial there of Charlie Foxtrot with this CharFox. That's me. Alright, we'll continue with other stuff now.
Charlie Foxtrot for CharFox. That's me. Alright. Next video up, we're going to be installing the dust particles that we took out back, starting now.
Now, one thing you want to take into consideration when you're installing these units is that alignment right here of this channel. Sorry, of this channel right here, and also at the channel in the bottom. You want to make sure you take extra care when you're sliding these guys in, because sometimes they'll get caught, just like this guy right here. And when they get caught, and if you keep forcing it in without actually taking the moment to fix out the little fins, you might end up damaging the filters And that's not a good thing. That's something we want to avoid. And it's easily
Yes, sir.
avoidable if you just take a little bit of care on what you're doing and do it carefully and slowly. And we're almost done here.
All right, and on to the last video, starting now.
And that's pretty much how it ends up looking. You have your pre-pleated filters here, and then you have your particle filters in the back to pick up all the dust or anything that might have slipped with the pre-pleated filters. Now, let's get this bad boy running now, shall we? Alright, so we want to go ahead and put it back on the automatic drive setting. We put it on off to protect ourselves a moment ago. Once it's in the automatic drive setting, then we come back here into the controller and put it in the on position for operational. It's going to start powering up the system. You're going to see the increase in power, and the speed is going to start revving up slowly as everything starts picking up power and speed. And as that bad boy starts picking up speed, over here we can see the revolutions of the frequency going in. We have it set to 40 because we want to protect our belts.
Listen to the wind change.
So right now the system is pulling in all that clean air from the filter area and passing it through the cold water coils, bringing it into the turbine and blowing the air up through the building as it pushes it in. Right now it is extremely windy and it's trying to pull me into the system, so we're going to carefully close this off. Alright.
Pow!
And lock up the safety handles. There we go. Now on the other side, if you notice the filters are looking a little bit squished because right now the volume of air that's more free and loosely available is right here in the atmosphere. So all that air is pushing in against the baggies. If I were to slowly close the door a little bit, the baggies would inflate because the air is now being pulled in from the chamber behind it, where the building air is coming in through. So as I close it again, you see the baggies inflate. That means that we have all the filters lined up nicely and everything is good to go. The bottom one doesn't want to get fat, but it's okay. I'm going to close this bad boy up. Hang on. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. All right. And that's pretty much how you change out filters in a commercial air chiller handler system. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.
Me and my wink. Alright, now, if you're wondering why is there water in there in that system, that is actually a water chiller. And who better to explain it than this guy right here, starting now.
Now, you might be wondering, how does that water that goes into the chiller air handler system, how does it get cold? Well, that's simple. And the solution is right here. This is the chiller water system. Now, the water from the building is coming in through this pipe and is getting distributed into chiller system 1 and chiller system 2. Now, inside these systems, you have several compressors that are actually working with a refrigerant that allows, during the refrigeration cycle, for the system to cool off, and the passing water then enters the heat exchanger. You can see if I can get a shot of it in here through here. No good. Sorry. Well, basically how it works is you have your water coming in through the system, and it enters the heat exchanger. Inside the heat exchanger, the refrigerant system is pumping in cooled off liquid refrigerant, and once it reaches an evaporator, and an expansion valve. It goes ahead and it turns into a mist, and the sudden decompression from liquid, compressed liquid, to gas, misty gas, causes a sudden decrease in temperature. Now that sudden decrease in temperature is absorbed by a coil, and the water then passes alongside the coil, and that's where the water gets super cooled off. The temperature of the water usually ranges from 45 to 55 degrees ideally, and then that cold water then once again enters the building, and it goes into the chiller air handler system where it gets cooled as the cold water enters the water coil, and then the air passes through the coil after it passes through the filters, and you have nice, clean, cool air inside your building. So that's pretty much how the chilled water system works here in this facility. I really hope you enjoyed this learn along with CharFox. That's me.
Yeah.
Any ideas or anything else? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. I like being involved with you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
I actually winked under the glasses. It's my thing. Alright, so that's that for work days. Now, coming up next, we have a special clip of something that I accomplished not too long ago. As you might be aware, Overwatch Beta was released, and thanks to my lovely and beautiful wife, I had access to the open beta because she actually pre-purchased the game and she gave me the invite a friend code. So, here are a couple of memorable moments that I had playing Overwatch, starting now.
No one can hide from my sight.
Now nerf this!
Overtime. Let's
I'm
make
on
a point.
fire! Suiting up!
Oh yeah, we were down to the bottom of the bottom, and if you notice, the capture point was saturated with people from the opposing team, and I went ahead and I self-destructed my mecha in there and eliminated 3 or 4 team members from the opposing team, and because of that, we actually won the game. So that was the play of the game. Another play of the game that I want to share with you guys is also with Diva, my favorite character. And let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Starting now.
Nerf this!
Quadruple
All
kill.
systems checked out!
No one can hide.
Damn it, Burst!
Yeah, you heard that right. Quadruple kill. That, for me, I've never accomplished that before, so that was awesome. And finally, the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. This was the hard effort and countless sacrificed hours of hard work and planning and spending money and preparing and rehearsing and all sorts of other things that come when you lead a talent show. Most of it was done by my wife. I just provided small assistance here and there, but this is the fruits of our labor. Starting now.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely.
And that's that. And by the way, my son is the one in red. He's angry. And that's that. So these are a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys as a thank you for all your support and all your involvement in this journey that we're taking together. So thank you for joining me for another watch along with CharFox. That's me. By the way, I don't know if you noticed me, but I was actually on stage with them. I was the shadow figure. But thank you so much. And the next Ruby reaction video is coming up soon. Promise. Now that I have a little bit more time, it's up soon. So thank you so much. Take care.